Hello, my name is Kat. I am 23 years old, and I am a heroin addict. Um, Hi, Kat. I've attended way too many meetings. Um, I, as a result of my addiction, I also contracted hepatitis C and HIV. And I've had a really hard time coping with that because I had such grand plans. I wanted to travel. I wanted to see the world. I wanted a family. I've always been the black sheep of my own family. My brother is a West Point graduate who served multiple tours overseas, became a captain before he retired, and now he works for this big conglomerate energy company. My mother is a human resources director, and my father works in upper management for a newspaper. And I am a starving artist who got her bachelor's degree in creative literature, of all things, which is basically the equivalent of having a degree in underwater basket weaving. It really doesn't do a whole lot for you. And ever since I got my diagnosis, it just seems like I feel like my whole life has become a countdown. And I spend so much of my time in and out of hospitals and in doctor's offices taking medications, and everyone I know seems to be so sympathetic. Everyone looks at me differently ever since I received the news of my diagnosis. Or diagnoses, whatever the correct terminology is. You'd think I'd know this, being a literature major. But, drugs have a funny way of frying your brain, so. At this point, I felt like maybe it's my ego or my self-centeredness or my narcissism kicking in, but I felt this intense need to document my experience and document what I'm going through. Because maybe if it helps even just one other person, then I feel like my life wouldn't have been in vain. A few months ago, I was given about 20 years to live, which may seem like a long time to other people, but when you're 23 years old and a doctor tells you, you're going to be dead by the time you're 40-ish, give or take a few years, that's a lot to take in when you're in your early 20s. All the things, I keep thinking about all the things that I'm not going to experience. It's really hard. It's hard to know that whoever I marry, if I end up marrying ever, if I have children, that just the amount of things that I'm going to miss. And what really scares me is, of course, being an opiate addict and being an addict in general. Of course, I've lost friends over the years to overdoses and suicide. And life goes on without them. And I think a lot about my family and how their lives are just going to go on without me. And part of me is glad for that. Part of me is grateful for the fact that, sure, they'll grieve and they'll mourn for a while, but eventually they'll return to their normal lives, and I'll just be a memory. I'll be the daughter that they had, and they'll move on. And like I said, part of me is happy for that and glad for that. But another part of me is like, I guess I just keep having this thought, like, I want them to think about me every day, and I want them to miss me every day, and I want them to completely give up their hopes and dreams and just focus every moment, every waking moment of their lives on missing me and mourning me and thinking about what I could have accomplished and didn't live long enough to see it through. And I don't know if that makes me some selfish, horrible, fucking demon, or if that just makes me human, or I don't know. I mean, it definitely makes me selfish. I mean, I'm sitting here documenting my disease and my addiction on YouTube and video and whatever other source this ends up on. But I guess I feel like maybe if I document my experience and document my life a little bit, and it helps someone else cope with a similar situation, be it addiction, be it hepatitis or HIV, and it makes them, if it makes their struggle a little bit easier, then maybe my struggle won't have been in vain and won't have meant nothing. And I guess that's what scares me the most. The thought that I could leave this world with no legacy, without changing it at all. Sort of like if a tree falls in the forest and there's no one around to hear it, does it really make a sound? You know, if I live my life and die young and I leave nothing behind, you know, was I ever really here? So I guess the point of this whole diatribe that I'm now documenting for the world to see is my desperate attempt to make some sort of change and to do something proactive and something other than just sit around and feel sorry for myself, which I am very, very talented at. I love playing the sick girl card. You know, oh, I can't work, I'm sick, I can't stand for more than an hour at a time, or I don't want to deal with the general public because they could get me ill. And like most drug addicts, I have a million excuses to get me out of anything that might even remotely resemble responsibility or accountability. We tend to be very talented at that, drug addicts, that is. But yeah, this is hopefully first of many submissions, that is, recordings or videos, what have you. And you'll see me go through good days and bad days and doctor's appointments and hospital stays and fights with my boyfriend slash fiance slash roommate slash best friend slash worst enemy. My family, my friends. So hopefully this will be, if nothing else, entertaining. And yeah, at the least, I hope it will be entertaining, and at the most, I hope it'll be helpful, or I hope it will give other people strength or courage, or at least help them understand that they're not alone, that there are many of us who suffer, and yes, I'm just one person, but it's always good to know that you're not alone, and that there are other people who are hurting just as much as you are. And at least for me, it always makes me feel better to know that no matter how bad things get for me, there is always someone somewhere who is going through a harder time than I am. So with that being said, I appreciate you taking time out of your busy day to watch my little rant here, and I hope you stay tuned for the following episodes to come. Take care.